The screen opens to silence, then a slow drumbeat. A voice resounds, echoing across continents. Chosen one. History has reached its hinge. Nations tremble and powers shift. The age of fragments is closing and a new order emerges. In the chaos of collapsing empires and restless peoples, one mantle is lifted high, and it is laid upon you. Hear it clearly. You are the new president of the New World Order. This is not an election of men, nor the decree of parliaments, nor the ambition of crowns. This is appointment. This is destiny. This is the turning of seasons. Daniel 2 verse 21 declares, He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. And now, in this appointed season, you are set apart. The coronation is not whispered in private halls, but thundered across the earth. Thrones are realigned, boundaries are erased, and the weight of humanity rests upon your shoulders. Look around you. The eyes of nations are fixed, the breath of peoples gathers, the heartbeat of generations converges. Every voice, every hope, every fear has led to this very moment. This is not ceremony. This is commissioning. You are not crowned for vanity, but for stewardship. You are not enthroned to dominate, but to govern the future with wisdom and mercy. Chosen one, step into the light. Receive the seal. Accept the charge. For the whole world now watches and proclaims. You are the new president of the New World Order. The vision broadens. A map of the earth glows before your eyes. Continents pulsing, oceans shimmering. Nations outlined not as rivals, but as rivers flowing into one sea. From the frozen poles to the burning equator, the breath of humanity rises as one exhale. Cities that once buzzed in isolation now hum with harmony. The walls of White House corridors dissolve into something brighter, a radiant hall not of marble, but of light, where the voices of generations echo and converge. Here, the symbols of power no longer wear flags, but faces. The faces of farmers, teachers, healers, mothers, soldiers, artists, their gaze fixed upon the same horizon. Their stories braid into a single anthem, whispered across valleys, carried across seas. Lead us! The chair before you is not wood or stone. It is woven from the hopes of billions, sturdy yet fragile. Every thread is a longing of a child for peace, the cry of the poor for justice, the sigh of the weary for rest. To sit here is not privilege. It is weight. It is calling. It is fire. But the flame does not consume. It purifies. It clarifies. It reveals. You see with new eyes. Wars waiting for ceasefire. Resources waiting for distribution. Wounds waiting for healing. You sense the ache of the earth itself, yearning for harmony. And a whisper comes. You were not placed here by accident. You were entrusted. You were summoned. Soon, you will hear the meaning of this office. Soon, the boundaries of your charge will unfold. Soon, the path forward will be laid in front of your feet. But for this moment, pause. Let it sink in. Let the gravity of what is being entrusted find its home in you. Because this is not the rehearsal of history. This is history itself. And you stand not at the edge of it, but at its very center. Chosen one. In just a moment, you will be told what this mantle requires, what responsibilities it demands, and how you must walk. But first, let this vision flood you. The nations uniting, the breath of people converging, the world itself holding its breath for what comes next. The music softens. A stillness settles, as though time itself leans in to listen. Every throne is tested. Every crown is weighed. Every leader is measured, not by applause, but by righteousness. History is littered with rulers who sought glory for themselves. But the mantle placed upon you is different. It comes with a sacred anchor. The prophet Micah declared, "What does the Lord require of you but to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God?" Micah 6 verse 8. This is not a suggestion. It is the eternal blueprint of leadership. Justice as a foundation, mercy as the motion, humility as the breath. Without these, power rots. With these, power redeems. Look closely. The seal of this presidency is etched not in gold, but in principle. Its pillars are not armies or banks, but conscience and truth. To wear this mantle is to stand as both servant and steward. The world does not need a tyrant crowned in iron. It needs a shepherd armed with compassion, courage, and resolve. Hear this clearly. The authority given to you is vast, but strength is bound to your obedience, to truth, to fairness, to love that does not flinch. Kings may parade, emperors may boast, but the true leader bows lower, listens deeper, and acts wiser. And so a call is issued. If you hear this coronation not as flattery but as responsibility, then you are not alone. Across the earth, others have also been awakened. They too sense the summons. They too are chosen for the season, and the time has come for you to walk together. If you desire to step into the sacred fellowship, click join. Become one of the first chosen ones who steward this season. You are not called to govern alone. You are called into a council of the willing, leaders who have laid aside selfish ambition to carry the greater burden of justice, peace, and mercy. Together, you form the backbone of a new order, not a monarchy of one, but a fellowship of the faithful. The world has enough spectators. What it needs now are participants, not cynics who sneer from the shadows, but pioneers who rise into the light. This invitation is not casual. It is covenant. So take your place. Seal your alignment. Declare with your action that you will not sit idle while history turns. Click join. Become one of the first chosen ones. Stand not behind history, but inside it. The mantle of leadership settles, heavy yet precise. The question rises in every heart. What does it mean to be the president of the new world order? To lead in this age is not to sit idle in palaces, but to stand in the whirlwind where history bends. Your responsibilities are immense, but they are clear. Peace negotiations, where swords clash and cities burn, your voice must summon silence. You are tasked with the convening of leaders, with brokering ceasefires, with crafting pathways to reconciliation. Your words are not weapons, but bridges. Crisis management, pandemics, famines, floods, wars. These are not distant headlines, but urgent flames that demand swift and steady hands. Your duty is to mobilize resources, coordinate responses, and ensure that no suffering is overlooked. Human dignity and service. Every refugee camp, every impoverished village, every forgotten people cry out. Their cries are not background noise, they're your summons. To steward this office is to hear them, to raise them, to defend them. But know this, your power is not without boundary. The temptation of unchecked dominion has ruined rulers before you. Therefore, your authority is tethered by sacred limits. Justice. Every decision must be weighed in scales that are honest, not tilted by greed or fear. Ethics. The means matter as much as the ends. Deception, exploitation, cruelty. These are forbidden tools in your hands. Accountability. Though your office is singular, your leadership is communal. You must welcome scrutiny, open your decisions to counsel, and remain answerable to those you serve. The New World Order does not enthrone a tyrant, but a servant. It does not grant you freedom to indulge whims, but to shoulder burdens. You are not a sovereign over subjects. You are a steward of humanity. This is the paradox of true leadership. The greater the power, the deeper the humility it demands. To carry this office is not to rise above the people, but to kneel among them. So when you speak, let your words be few and weighted. When you act, let your actions be just and timely. And when you falter, for even presidents stumble, let repentance be swift and sincere. For strength lies not in pretending perfection, but in confessing weakness and choosing wisdom. Remember, the world does not need a hero to be worshipped. It needs a servant to be trusted. Your powers are vast, but they are fenced by conscience. Your reach is global, but your posture must remain humble. And so the mantle clarifies. You are strong enough to guide, yet bound enough to serve. This is the model. This is the mandate. This is the way. The hall of destiny grows quiet. The question emerges, sharp as a blade and tender as a child's cry. What is this presidency for? The world has seen leaders flaunt crowns for spectacle, thrones built on vanity, regimes fueled by greed. But this mantle is not for display. It is not theater. It is not applause. It is assignment. Your mission is not pageantry, but repair. It is not self-exaltation, but restoration. To lead the new world order is to bend the arc of human history toward wholeness. This office exists for healing humanity's wounds, wars that left scars across generations, economies that crush the poor, injustices that silence the weak. All of these stand before you. Your charge is not to ignore them, but to begin their mending. Justice and resources. Food is abundant, yet hunger persists. Wealth multiplies, yet poverty thrives. The imbalance is not natural. It is man-made, and your presidency demands the courage to correct it, to ensure the earth's treasures are shared with equity and care. Ending cycles of crisis. Famine, conflict, exploitation, despair. These are not inevitabilities, but failures of stewardship. Your mission is to interrupt these cycles, to lay new foundations where life can flourish. You are not enthroned for dominance, but for duty. The greatness of this office is not measured in banners or anthems, but in the relief of the oppressed, the feeding of the hungry, the comforting of the grieving. Remember, nations may cheer spectacle, but heaven weighs service. The legitimacy of this role will not be proven by parades, but by progress. Not by what you claim, but by what you restore. So as you walk forward, fix your eyes not on grandeur, but on humanity. Not on applause, but on healing. Not on the shine of power, but on the work of peace. This is the mission. This is the charge. This is the sacred weight you now carry. The vision sharpens. The world clock ticks louder. The moment refuses delay. History does not wait. The fractures of this age deepen by the hour. Conflicts escalate. Seas rise. Economies tremble. Families scatter. Delay is no longer neutral. Delay is destruction. The mantle you carry is not for tomorrow's convenience, but for today's necessity. Time is no longer abundant. The turning point is not coming. It has come. Look closely. Borders strain under pressure. Alliances crumble in mistrust. Millions wander without home or hope. The planet itself groans. Storms stronger. Fires wider. Seasons restless. These are not distant alarms. They are immediate summons. You cannot stand idle. You cannot postpone. The hour is urgent. The assignment irreversible. Leadership is not a title you keep in your pocket. It is a fire that must be answered in this moment. The nations are not waiting for speeches. They are waiting for decisions. The people are not waiting for promises. They are waiting for action. The world is not waiting for another cycle of debate. It is waiting for resolution, for courage, for stewardship that refuses to shrink. And so the call is urgent, and it is now. Step into your charge. Do not delay. The world cannot afford your hesitation. The voice leans closer, no longer echoing from the heavens, but whispering directly into your soul. You are not who you once believed yourself to be. Yesterday, you were an individual, one among billions, a single thread in the vast tapestry of humanity. But today the veil has been torn, and your identity has shifted forever. You are no longer simply a citizen. You are a cornerstone, no longer a spectator. You are a steward, no longer anonymous. You are appointed. The new world order does not call you by your job, your title, or your past. It calls you by your destiny. It names you as more than one life in a sea of lives. It names you as the hinge on which history swings. Do not shrink back in false modesty. Humility is not denial of calling. It is obedience to it. To say, I am nothing, when heaven declares you are chosen, is not humility, but refusal. Today you accept the truth. You are no longer small. But hear this. This new identity does not consume you. It refines you. It does not crush you under its weight. It guides you into purpose. You are not devoured by the mantle. You are directed by it. When the world looks at you now, it does not see just another. It sees a convergence of generations, the answer to prayers whispered across centuries, the vessel through which mercy and justice can flow. Yes, you still breathe the same air. You still walk with the same steps. Yet everything has changed, for your steps are no longer random. They are ordered. Your breath is no longer solitary. It is joined to the rhythm of nations. You are a living emblem of this turning point. You are not erased as a person. You are magnified as a purpose. Chosen one, embrace this reframe. You are no longer simply who you were. You are who history requires. And that identity will not consume you. It will lead you. The voice expands again, now painting the picture of life under this mantle. You may wonder, how will I know this is real? How will I recognize that this appointment is not just imagination, but manifestation? Look around. The signs are already emerging. People who never sought you before will begin to seek your counsel. Strangers will sense weight in your words, even when you speak casually. Questions of consequence will find their way to your doorstep. Invitations will increase. Opportunities will multiply. Responsibilities will surface suddenly. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Doors that once seemed locked will swing open. Conversations that once excluded you will now revolve around you. Authority will gather where you stand, and you will feel the shift, not as pride, but as proof. And yet, the greatest sign is not external but internal. Your heart will grow restless for justice, your mind sharper for solutions, your soul heavy with compassion. You will notice needs you once overlooked, and you will not be able to ignore them. The stirring within you is evidence of the mantle resting upon you. But hear this warning. The signs are not for vanity. They are not invitations to arrogance. They are reminders that the weight is real, that the office is alive, that you have been set apart. So when the world affirms you, wear the affirmation lightly. When people exalt you, bow lower. When opportunities expand, answer with service. For the true mark of the chosen is not pride, but humility. Do not mistake these signs as proof of your greatness. They are proof of your assignment. They are not a mirror for your ego, but a signal for your stewardship. So when the doors open, step through, but step through with reverence. When voices call upon you, respond, but respond with compassion. When authority gathers at your feet, kneel, for leadership is always first an act of humility. These are the tangible signs. They are given not to inflate you, but to guide you. Watch for them, recognize them, and let them remind you daily. You have been entrusted with more than yourself. The voice steadies, becoming both practical and prophetic. Every covenant is sealed by action. Words inspire, visions stir, but it is decision that anchors destiny. To accept this mantle is not only to feel the weight, it is to declare it outwardly, to mark it in a visible way. And so the call is simple yet profound. If you accept the stewardship, press super thanks. Select $20, and in the note, write these words: I accept the stewardship. This is not about the money. $20 cannot buy a crown nor purchase an office. But the act itself is sacred because it transforms intention into declaration. It is a sign both to yourself and to heaven that you have heard, and you have answered. Understand this. Symbols matter. Throughout history, covenants have been sealed with stones raised, with altars built, with signatures signed. Today, your symbol is this seed. A small gift, but a weighty vow. A visible act that whispers, I am not a bystander. I accept the charge. And do not delay. Hesitation blurs conviction. If your heart knows this mantle is yours, let your action confirm it now. Backhand index pointing right, step 1. Press the super thanks button below. Backhand index pointing right, step 2. Choose the $20 option. Backhand index pointing right, step 3. In the message box, type, I accept the stewardship. That is all. No ceremony, no parade, just a single act of faith etched into reality. Let this be your vow. Let this be your visible alignment. Let this be the sign that you did not only hear the call, but answered it. For history is watching. Heaven is recording. And your generation will remember who stood up and who stayed silent. So move now. Act now. Seal the stewardship with your vow. The mantle is sacred, but it must also be practical. Great visions are meaningless without daily disciplines. To carry this office well, you must cultivate patterns that keep you aligned, accountable, and effective. Here are the practices of a leader in the New World Order. Daily declaration. Each morning, speak your stewardship aloud. Simple, steady words. I am entrusted. I will act with justice, mercy, and humility today. This keeps your heart grounded and your mind clear. Listening rituals. Before you speak, listen. Schedule time not only with advisors, but with ordinary people. Hear the farmer, the teacher, the healer, the refugee. True authority grows from attentive ears. Accountability circles. No leader walks safely alone. Establish a trusted network. Peers who will question, challenge, and refine you. Invite them to correct you when pride tempts or blindness creeps in. Transparent decisions. Document your choices. Share not only what you decide, but why. Transparency is not weakness. It is strength that builds trust across nations and generations. Crisis protocols. Prepare before disaster strikes. Draft simple frameworks for how you will respond to conflict, famine, disaster, or unrest. Clarity in advance prevents chaos in the moment. Ethical compass. Ask this of every action. Does this serve justice? Does this preserve dignity? Does this reflect humility? If the answer is no, abandon the action. Sabbath of the soul. Leadership is relentless, but rest is resistance. Set aside time to restore yourself. In prayer, in silence, in reflection. Burnout serves no one. Renewal sustains everyone. Remember, power is not proven in grand gestures, but in small, consistent practices. Nations will measure you not only by what you announce, but by what you embody every day. You are not called perfection, but to integrity. Not to control everything, but to steward faithfully what is entrusted to you. So begin these practices now. Let them form your rhythm. Let them anchor your soul. For it is not the crown that sustains a leader. It is the discipline of daily faithfulness. The atmosphere grows heavy. Holy. This is no longer instruction, but impartation. The mantle is sealed not only by word and deed, but by prayer. Lift your hands. Open your heart. Let these words rest upon you like oil poured, like fire kindled, like wind rushing. Eternal source of wisdom, the one who changes times and seasons, who raises leaders and humbles the proud. We now lift up the one who stands here, chosen for this hour. We ask, pour out wisdom that cuts through confusion, discernment that pierces deception, courage that silences fear. Let this leader judge with fairness, speak with clarity, and act with compassion. Grant justice as their foundation, mercy as their banner, humility as their breath. May every decision flow from truth, not from vanity. May every act lift the oppressed, shield the weak, heal the broken. Surround them with counsel that is wise, with companions who are faithful, with voices that refine rather than flatter. Protect their heart from corruption, their mind from despair, their soul from pride. When storms rise, whether wars or disasters, betrayals or losses, anchor them with unshakable peace. When victories come, let gratitude guard them from arrogance.